welcome, Maestro Fresh West, Canadian. You are Canadian heritage. Um, this is the way that you've been introduced many times, but godfather of Canadian hip hop, first Black artist to ever have a gold or
Second,
platinum record. Second,
second.
my bad.
Shout out to my brother Dan Hill, man. Fleming
Shout
and
out to
Park in the
Dan
building.
Hill. All
Yeah,
right. First hip hop artist,
absolutely.
clearly, to have a
Yeah.
gold or platinum record. First hip hop artist ever inducted in the Canadian Music Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame Stro.
Hall of Fame
I'm really
stroll.
proud. Hall of Fame Stro. That's the new nickname. Hall of Fame Stro. And what else? You're about to get the Governor's Award. And what else? You do film and TV. Right now, you're doing 2 TV shows at the same time. Race Against Tides, Maestro Chef West. You found you're comfortably in a pocket where you make music with the most poppin' and most relevant artists of Toronto right now. You got music with the Underground, Adam Bomb, Tona. You got music with the big guys, the Cardinal Officials, the Socrates, um, the JD Eras. Anyways, I hope it's a worthy introduction. Welcome to Mom's Crib, Maestro Chef, Maestro Fresh West. Look at you, Maestro Chef West.
Yeah. Well, you
Maestro
know what?
Fresh West.
It's like it's important to diversify the portfolio, and it's important to you know, look at what you've done because a lot of times you know, I don't look at what I did in the past and dwell on that because I believe that could be a liability, right, to your personal and professional development. But
Smart.
every now and then you got to say to yourself, man, you know what? It's time to celebrate, man. So I'm celebrating the fact that,
Yes. Yes.
I'm
Long
celebrating.
distance cheers.
Yes, my man. You know what I'm
Cheers,
saying?
my king. Cheers, king. You got to
Because
celebrate this. You got to
came a long way,
celebrate this.
family. And this wasn't just for me. This is for hip hop. Hip hop is now in the Canadian Music Hall of Fame.
It's remarkable.
You see what
I
I'm
look at
saying?
what you've done and it's remarkable.
Yeah.
You know why I think it's so remarkable? Artists like myself are trying to get in the game.
Mm.
You were the first to get in the game at an era where there was no internet, at an era where there was no path or no path drawn for you to know what to follow. And you are here in 2024 getting awarded, doing TV shows. It's unseen. Are you aware of that?
Yeah. But my main thing is, you don't want your past to be your liability. You don't want to be like what you did in the past be what's that's the only thing defining you. So I'm glad that I've done what I've done. Trust me, I'm still celebrating. I ain't still
Right?
on cloud nine. I'm still on cloud 99. So I'm gonna
That's
make
it.
sure that I fathom and all of that, reap all that in while I'm working on new projects as well. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Of course, you can't rest on your laurels.
I
You know
got a
what?
show. It's so funny. I did the Junos right after
Yes.
that. Like it
Yeah.
was time to do halftime for the Raptors game on my birthday. You see what I'm saying?
Right?
How cool is that, right?
That's a
And
celebration of all celebrations.
yeah, man. I'm about to I'm opening up for TLC. They doing a show. Right?
What?
I'm about to
That's
murder that.
massive.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
That's massive. Congratulations. That's icons in themselves, right?
and then right after that is the Governor General Award in
Back,
Ottawa. I'm saying
back
it's
to
only
back to
right for
back.
the right Prime Minister to be in the nation's capital addressing the nation. You know what I'm saying, son?
It's only right, and there will be nobody else. Listen,
Right.
you talk about never resting on your laurels, and that's definitely probably one of the ingredients in maintaining Maestro for this many years. Like yes, it all starts with Let Your Backbone Slide. It all starts with 1989, but 2024, it's because you're able to diversify, right? So let's talk about the diversification, the music,
Well,
for
listen to what you
example,
just
right?
said.
Prime Minister.
Listen to what you just said. It didn't start in 88, 89. It started like in 79, family. You know what I'm saying?
79. Let's talk
Show.
about it.
I did my first show in 1979 at Our Lady of Good Counsel Catholic School, around
That's
for the
dope.
first time. And then the rest is history. In 83, 82 rather, my
Mhm.
name was Melody MC.
Melody MC. Yes, I read that. First right
Um,
name from 82 to 88.
from 1982 to 1988, I was Melody
There we
MC.
go.
And
And then
shout out
what?
to Ron
What?
Nelson. I was about to say shout out to Ron Nelson, who's one of my
Right.
mentors. He had a show
Shout out
called
to Ron
The
Nelson.
Fantastic Voyage Program, and
Okay.
I was like 15 at the time. And I went on and I just remember the words. That's Melody MC. He's 15 and damn, he's good. And that's all that gave me incentive, like I was moving in the right direction. Now imagine this. Let me show you how a community supports you, Troy.
Talk to me. Talk
Imagine
to me.
that's Saturday afternoon on
Yeah.
Ryerson, 88.1. Imagine going to school
Mhm.
on Monday
Mhm.
and your teachers are telling you, yo, I heard you on radio, and your teachers are quoting your bars, man.
Yo,
Isn't
that's
that
wild.
dope? Like,
That's
just
the
think about the
blessing.
community support. Like,
I
that's
can't even
ill.
imagine.
My
I can't
teachers
even imagine.
are like quoting my bars. Yo, we heard you on the radio, West. Man, you're awesome. Like you know what I'm
You
saying?
know, I
Like
think
that's
that's the
ill.
story that any artist would dream of, right? You go to
Hell
school
yeah.
and then everybody knows about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're
Yeah.
proud about it. It's
Come on,
it's
son.
it's like a TV story, man.
So 84, I believe, 83, 84, I teamed up with my homie Ebony MC.
Ebony
Formed a
MC.
group, and we formed a group called Vision. Now you resemble my brother.
You said this to me, yo. One
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
first conversations we had. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I took it
yeah,
as a real,
yeah.
not even a compliment, but I took it as something spiritual. You're telling me, yo, we about to make music. I really think it's spiritual. The fact that you hit me up, Maestro, Fresh West, the great. I know who you are. I looked up. I watched you on TV. You reached out to do some music or whatever. We connected, and then you telling me, yo, one of my OGs, like my first rap partner. You remind me of him.
You and him could be brothers.
Spiritual,
I'm gonna show you a picture of him sometime. You'll be like, okay, I see what
spiritual.
you're saying, right?
It's spiritual, man.
His middle name is Troy.
That's wild.
His middle name is Troy, fam.
That's wild, wild. Damn.
If he's seeing
Middle
you,
name.
if he's seeing you, it'd be like, okay, I can see why you say we resemble. You know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
pause. Pause. I gotta meet that man.
Yeah,
Yo,
yeah,
for real.
yeah, man.
Seriously.
Peace, man. Marlon, hey, he came up with the
Shout
name.
out to Marlon. Shout out to Ebony MC.
He came up with the name Vision, and that's something
Okay.
I've been trying to stick to as well for a long time. And I started a solo career, and people started telling me I was old, and that's what made me start to
Yeah.
regret myself because the city knew of me from '82 as as uh as Melody MC. So by the time
Yeah.
1988 rolled around, 1987, 88, it's like, yo, you old, man. You
That's
old.
easy. You know what? You know, it's the energy of the streets, it's bravado. You know what? Let's say you're talking street culture. OGs get on the blocks, times they get locked up, young dudes take over. And then when they come back, it's like, yo, chill out, old head, we got this. Hip hop gets like that. Hip hop gets like that when a lot of other genres, the stripes of respect, the Aerosmiths, the Rolling Stones, they walk around the earth forever with
Yeah.
God status. Hip hop, we give you that status, but it's OG. You know what I'm saying? But really, we should champion our OGs because we all grow. You know what I'm saying? Age is undefeated. And getting to where you got is something that could never be, you know, passed through.
You
These
know
are
what I'm
these are
saying? I mean,
generational things.
to be fair, right?
Yeah.
Hip hop was in its infancy and it didn't know how to give love. You know what I'm
You know
saying?
what? I like how
Coming
you
out
say
of
that.
Toronto, it's not like we're
Yeah.
coming out of New York City where it's like my brother LL Cool J. He might have been the first artist on Def Jam, but he
Yeah.
wasn't the first black artist from New York
Of course
going
not,
gold
right?
to platinum, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Def Jam wasn't the first record label. Before that, you had like Motown. Before Motown, you had Chess Records through different generations. You got to remember in Toronto, Canada,
I get it. We
we
hadn't
didn't know how
seen
to
black
give it.
music do these kinds of things,
And I say that
right?
shout out to like Crack of Dawn. That's a group that came out in the '70s, a funk band. They were
Okay.
signed to the States
Shout
RCA.
out to Crocodon.
Crack of Dawn was dope, you know what I'm saying? And then
From
Snap
Toronto?
after that from Toronto, yeah.
The
And
Crack of Dawn out of Toronto, out of Canada, had a deal with RCA. You talking about what year?
then I believe it was like 1978, 1979.
Right. Let's talk about this Canadian heritage, this
Yeah,
this
yeah,
music
yeah,
heritage, this black heritage. Beautiful. Shout out
yeah.
79, already making noise in the States. I'd love to hear it.
And before that, you had mans like crews like Sunshine Sounds. That's like the
Okay.
Sunshine is like was the most popular sound system out of Toronto.
Okay.
You see
So
what I'm
you had
saying?
sound crews essentially.
We had sound crews, you know what I'm saying? We had that. My former manager, Farley Flex, he used to be security for Sunshine. That's
Shout out
that's
to
how
Flex.
he came up. Yeah, man. Shout out to Farley Flex. And then you had like Kilowatts on the west end, like Mississauga side. That was another
Okay.
group. Then you had like Chic Dynasty. They're from Scarborough, where I'm from. But like
Love to hear that.
Sunshine, their main DJ, Tony Duncan,
Yeah.
he's Scarborough. You know what I'm saying? He from. If you ever hear these kids talk about the Vern, they talk about
Yeah, the Vern.
Malvern is like Farley Flex is like a triple, quadruple OG because
Okay.
Malvern, he went to Pearson the very first year at Lester B. Pearson High School. You know, when it was just a portable. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
That's that.
Damn.
Like, you see what I'm saying? We go
Yeah,
back, and then Marlon
absolutely.
Ebony MC, he's from Malvern as well. You feel me?
Shout out
So
to
Toronto
Malvern.
been in the building from time.
You know
And
what?
that's good
Shout out.
recruiting though, because that's what I'm saying. By the time 1988 rolled around, I'm considered old. You see what I'm saying? Because at that time, shout out to Michi Me, LA Love, and Beat Factory conglomerate. Because
Mishimi, can I interject? Is she
yeah,
from Montreal? Or did she have a moment in Montreal?
we all had moments in Montreal, my brother.
No, but I'm talking about like, formative years. I feel like someone had told me that. I'm gonna verify that intel. So forget what I just said, but go
I
on.
wouldn't be surprised because Montreal, we'll get to Montreal in a minute.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you
yeah.
what I think about Montreal in a hot second. But
Let's
I
get
just
it.
want to tell you the lineage of how I got to the level. And then it was like, yo, this dude is like, he's old, man. So that's why I reinvented myself and I changed my name to the Maestro Fresh
To the
West.
Maestro. And that's the iconic name that we know and respect today. Here's a question. We talked about sound crews. Like back when, what I'm saying, I was early, my early years of rap, there was ciphers everywhere. You used to leave the club, the little cipher, 4 or 5 people, got to 10, 15 people. Used to go outside of shows, there was the ciphers. And that's how people knew who the rappers were before anybody really had a vinyl record, before anybody really got on the radio. The radio game clearly, like college radio played a big part. But how did it move back then? Like before you got to Let Your Backbone Slide in TV, how did you get your name up in Toronto?
So, fantastic voice program. I was one of the first MCs to spit on that, right? And then
Fantastic voice. All right, all right.
2 weeks later, this dude named Mikey C
Mikey C.
and Chili, they decided to battle me. They came back with it, trying to diss Melody MC. I was like, oh,
Oh,
I started scrolling, and I'm saying
let's
that was the
go.
first battle on radio. It was Melody MC
All right.
versus Mike C and Chili. I came back. I had
Mike
to
C
get
and
the,
Chili. Hold up. Pause. They doubled up on you. They came through like, oh man. So
yeah, so I had to represent. They from Brahms. Brahms is like North York, Don Mills and Shepherd area, and
different
I'm from
part of town.
Scarborough. You see what I'm
Different
saying?
part of
So,
town.
so I had to scroll. I came back
It
at
was
them.
drama. It was
And
drama.
then,
It was hectic.
hell yeah, it was fun. That was the first time we ever. And then
Did it
later,
ever get to the point where you thought it might leave the mic? Like, was it just a respect rap thing, or was it like when they
respect.
saw
It
you
was all
outside, it was a little
respect.
static?
It was all respect, man. It was
All right,
all
that's dope.
respect. They came at me, and I came back at them. You know what I'm saying?
That's the upside of the current battle of the top 3 rappers of the moment is nobody feels like it's going to spill out outside of the ring. So one of the good things of rap is you want to get that pen sharp. You want to hear these guys, chest bump, but you want to feel as
But
though
bro,
this is
we're
going to stay
talking
safe.
1984 though, fam.
I love to hear it.
We're talking
84,
1983,
Stop.
1984.
The culture,
That's what I'm talking about. This
the
is like,
culture.
you see what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
then it was like, then I connected with Ebony MC.
Okay.
And then it was like, there was something called the Battle of the Rappers.
Okay.
So they picked the top, I think 35 crews entered. They picked the top 8 to open up for UTFO. UTFO had a big record called
Roxanne.
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 You see what I'm saying?
OG
So
talk.
people came
OG talk.
from all over Toronto. You had man from Brampton. You had Saga. You had different parts of the city, but Vision represented, and we won. We came first place.
That's
Mikey
what's
C,
up.
they came third place, right? No, yeah. Mikey C and Chili came third, but Kilowatt from Mississauga, they came second. You
So
feel me?
your ops, the dudes who came at you, you
Ops.
beat them there too.
Rest in peace, Mike C, man.
Oh, damn. Rest in
Peace.
peace to the king.
That's my
You know what I mean?
brothers, man. Those are my brothers, man. He
But
ended up being like one of the top promoters in Toronto, aka Michael Charles. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
nice to see when the OGs find a way to stay fresh anyways, right? Like I know rap is something where you want it artistically, we all want it for ourselves. But it's nice to see that the OG, did his thing somewhere else and was doing his thing. He said Mikey Charles is dope. Okay, so speaking about that, so then we move on to Melody FC, Maestro Fresh West. Now, how did you get your first deal?
So how I got my first deal, I performed in a TV show called Electric Circus. It was
Electric
my
Circus on
yeah,
Much Music
that's
led
right.
to interest of a label to then sign you?
Because I was in the right place at the right time because we were shopping our demo to New York record companies. Nobody got back to us.
It's tough.
And it is what it is, man.
It's the game, yeah. It's the game.
And the other side of town, you had Miss Me and LA Love hooking up with First Priority with MC Light and them. And that's the reason why I was called old. So let's give Beat Factory the credit they deserve, because
Shout out to
we
Beat
went
Factory.
from making demo tapes and opening up for US acts to actually having vinyl. So when their vinyl came out, it was like the change of the guard. It was like, yo, you old if you're just coming on a radio station and rapping and open up for acts. Another group we got to mention is the Get Loose crew out of Flemington.
What year was that vinyl? Before we talk about the Get Loose crew, what year was that vinyl?
1987, 88, because Mishi did a
87, 88.
Mishi Me did a joint. Listen,
vinyl, shout out.
Mishi Me and LA Love did a joint produced by Scott LaRock called Elements of Style. That came out in 1987.
That's leveling up. Scott LaRock was
featuring
was big business.
Factor KRS-One on the hook. See what I'm saying? And then
Super Legends.
Crazy Super Legend. And on top of that, too, the Get Loose crew out of Flemington Park. You might not know certain names. S Blank produced the track on my album on my first album. But Be Cool, he was in that group. You see what I'm saying? Right. So Be Cool, who changed it to Carlito, he was a part of the Get Loose crew. They had an EP out like 87, 88. You see what I'm saying? That's dope. I'm the old guy now. I'm the guy that people listen to from 1982. Then you got these artists coming out having vinyl. They got records, and I'm still trying to just make little cassette tapes. You see what I'm saying?
Listen, do you have these moments? Because I sometimes have these moments where I realize Maestro Fresh West, Hall of Fame, is a dude with who I dropped songs that were celebrated, and just we have these regular conversations. Like I was like, yo, Troy, send me the beat. Like I get moments where I'm like, do you have moments when you realize, and I know you say you never rest on your laurels. You talking about in 88, they were saying you old. Bro, you in 24 getting awards, popping up at the Junos, dancing, swagging, styling. You the ultimate OG. You are the ultimate, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the word? Is you maneuver. You maneuver. You don't stay on one. You gotta maneuver to stay relevant.
One of the highlights of that whole thing. Shout out to Carter now, because he gave me the greatest speech ever known in hip-hop history. You'll never hear a speech from one MC giving tribute to another MC like that again. That's my brother Carter now. We'll get to him in a minute, right? But one of my other highlights was meeting Pressa.
Oh, because, you know what I'm saying, the new guard is showing you love and knows about you, respect you.
He was feeling nice. He was charmed up, feeling good.
For sure.
I seen him on the red carpet the night before. So when he see me after the Juno Awards, he was like, yo, he goes, yo, record this. Because I didn't know him good enough to be like, yo, let's record nothing. I just met him the night before.
Plus, you don't want to record all the time, for sure.
He's like, F that, record this. And he's like, yo, man, this is the Canadian drip, man. It's like, you set the footsteps.
I saw that clip.
And then we follow, you know what I'm saying?
Saw that clip.
And as he goes, my father grew up watching you. But here's the ill part. This is why he felt comfortable. Because when I met him the night before on the red carpet, I'm like, yo, dude, that young energy inspires me to do what I'm doing. That's the reason why I'm looking so young. You see what I'm saying? Absolutely. I don't know what these guys think of the old artists and stuff.
The OGs.
They didn't think, like I seen that kid YG. I'm quoting his bars. He looked at me like he thought he saw a ghost, because I did not look like a dude that would know his bars.
100%.
Listen,
part of me thinks it's the beauty of Canadian hip hop. I will say this. We all grew up on American hip hop.
Yeah.
But Canadian hip hop, I give it to them. Like, we respect the OGs. We respect and understand and acknowledge the ones who came before us. The way we see you today, the way we hear and celebrate Cardi today. And there's a million other names, right? Chaclair today, Red One today. There's so many artists. I think the elegance of Canadian hip hop music scene.
You know how cool it is to see Nelly Furtado introduce me with Classified.
Yeah.
And Halifax, where Class is from. He's from Nova Scotia. He's got a Symphony in Effect cassette.
He got your tape on him. That's the Maritime. That's where you at right now. That's the ultimate love.
How ill is that? Shout out to Classy Freddie Blassie.
Shout out to Classified. Shout out
to
Classified. You know what? It's dope because these are people who are like Classified's a Canadian face. He's like, what's the name of the dude? Sidney Crosby. I would call him Sidney Crosby of Canadian hip hop. Like, he represents well, he raps well, he's skilled. He's no controversy. He doesn't use gimmicks, and he has a high level of skill with production and rap. And for him to have your
How
tape on
classy
his
Fred
neck,
Blassie.
that's the
I'm
respect.
calling him.
That's the respect for the OGs.
How classy Fred Blassie. Let's see what pops up. I'm gonna call him right now. Tell him that.
That's wild. That's wild. Let's get classified on the phone.
He picks up. He picks up.
Yeah,
Let's see if he picks up.
let's hope the OG's home.
Let's see if he probably won't pick up because his daughter probably got
He had
like
the
basketball
tape on his
tournament.
neck.
But I'm gonna tell him that, classified as the Sidney Crosby of
Your call has
hip
been
hop.
forwarded to voice.
100%.
The person you're trying to
100%.
reach.
100%. 100%. Like if you're Wayne Gretzky, I would put him. Don't ask me about every rapper.
Leave that alone.
No,
Leave that
you
alone.
Gretzky, and
I'm
then we
nice. I'm
have
nice. I'm nice.
you
But
Gretzky. You the OG, bro.
I'm gonna tell class.
What's
I'm
up?
gonna tell classified. That's a new title, son. I'm the rap prime minister.
We got McDavid. If I had to say something, Drake's McDavid. You Gretzky. He's Crosby. If I had to think of Canadian identity, that's
Okay,
who we
leave me out of
all
hockey
are.
because I know how to skate, man. But classy Freddie Blassie, classified as the Sidney Crosby of hip hop. That's my dude,
Yeah.
right? That's his new title.
100%. Yo, I'm a simple dude. Like I love rap, but I'm still a rap fan. And when I got that follow back from Classified, like I don't know, 5-7 months ago, I was like, yeah, like I feel that way about it. So I feel that way
Well,
about
dope.
Classified. I think your link is dope. What did he? So he's produced a good amount of stuff with you, right? What's up with I Try, for example?
Oh, Reach for the Sky, that's dope, man. We sampled Blue Rodeo.
Right? Dope
Blue
record
Rodeo.
together. You've worked with people, relevant people, popping people all the time. Is it a symbiotic connection of the respect of the OG who's still fresh, and at the same time you connect with the young people to still keep your pen sharp? It's you know what I'm saying? It's a combined
Let me tell you something.
connection.
Let me tell you something. You just did an interview with Socrates.
Yes.
Socrates is one of my mentors, man.
What?
Socrates.
We learn from everyone, right?
Socrates is the Prince Rogers Nelson of Canadian hip hop. And that's coming from me. Understand what I'm
Bro,
saying?
this show's about giving flowers. I love that you give those
I'm just
flowers.
saying,
This
like,
show's about
I'm not
giving
saying
flowers.
anything.
Let's just give some flowers. Let's give some more flowers.
But listen, he it's not like he's shocked that I'll tell him that. You know what I'm saying? He knows that he's one of my mentors. Another one of my mentors, rest in peace, King Rain. You know what I'm
Shout out
saying?
to King Rain.
Promise,
Talk
the
about
MC Promise.
talk about King Rain. Rich Kid.
Rich Kid is one of my mentors. You know what I'm saying? King Rain
You
is my
brought
dude,
me.
man. Yeah.
Hold up. We're gonna talk about King Rain in a second, but Rich Kid, that's a link that I have a personal little connection to. When I went to Toronto to meet you for the first time, we are gonna shoot the video for Talk to Me Nice. We already had a location, but you told me to meet you at a Rich Kid show. You had a +1. I brought a couple of people with me, and I thought I was just gonna go there to connect with you. You won. Introduced me, welcomed me to Toronto, where you were like, yo, that's Troy Dunnit to this guy, that guy, Adam Baum, David Cox, Universal A&R, Rich Kid. I bought a t-shirt, like with the way you brought me in and the way they were all like, yo, Stro, the way we filmed the video, guerrilla style outside. Because Maestro does what the fuck he wants in Toronto. And then what I also, this is respectfully, yo, during that moment that we shot a video for an hour, 3 different people came up to you, yo, Maestro, can I get a picture? You the governor for real.
But okay, thank you. But you saw the love you got in Toronto, right?
And that was appreciated, man. Toronto shows love when it's shows love when it's respectful and respected. You know what I'm saying? It's a balance, but it was dope. It was dope.
We appreciate Montreal, man. The first MC I ever met out of Montreal is a brother by the name of MC Flight.
Shout out to MC Flight.
Did you ever met him?
You ever met him? I never met MC Flight. Break it down to
Flight, let me tell you, I battle I used to be a battle rapper, right? So I battled MC named from Philly, MC Marvelous. That's Cash Money. Cash Money.
Yo, shout out to battle culture. I love that you came from that.
So watch this though. So
does the world know that? They don't know that.
Yeah, I came. I'm battle tested.
I love it. Let's talk about it. Let's go. Go on.
I used to battle mans at Flemington Park, concert hall, whatever. Like I was
dropping locations, bro. We dropping locations.
Like
you gonna find body bags? You gonna
Melody,
find body bags in these locations?
Yeah, man. Listen, Melody MC was a revered MC. Like if I never became Maestro Fresh West,
yes,
Melody MC alone would have been a legend.
That's where we started. My first name was Science, and I was a lyrical dude too. So we all go through phases of life.
Ask people like Russell Peters. He know me as Melody MC. You know what I'm saying?
Russell Peters. Let's mic drop. You can't just talk Russell Peters right quick.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Ask, he knows me as Melody MC. Man's
That
like
speed dial,
mastermind.
that speed dial. Shout out to more
Yeah, I
Canadian
can do that too.
culture,
But I'm just saying,
champions of the
like
culture.
legendary
Yeah.
DJs like Mastermind,
That's dope.
MCs
That's
like
dope.
Thrust. They know me as Melody MC. They know me as Melody MC. I was
I love
already
that.
a revered MC in Toronto before 1988. Problems only started coming after I got my record deal. Before that, it was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? So,
Listen,
nah.
heavy is the head that wears the crown. It's lonely at the top. You're the first dude who essentially just, it sounds horrible to say because today we don't say that anymore. But at the time when someone sounded American, like you didn't sound like, there's no way that's Canadian. It almost sounds like your third album, right? What? Nah, there's no way that's Kids from Canada. Because when I heard your record, it sounded like whatever you heard in New York. But then when I went back as a grown person and I checked the lyrics, you always drop lyrics about Toronto identity. I think when you're a kid, like that thought, I'm not American. I used to always hear that and not wasn't sure if you said you were American or not American. I was a kid, right? But I realized today you were as dope as the New York dudes. You sounded like Big Daddy Kane and these dudes, but um, you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like we knew you were Canadian. If you listen to it carefully, we still heard that Canadian identity. It's a dope part about it.
I remember one time I had a show a couple years ago, and I was a little nervous before I did a show because we all care
Mhm.
about our shows and stuff,
Of
right?
course we do.
I did an IG live, Planet
Mhm.
Asia from the West Coast. He just decided to come on the live, right?
Shout out to
And
Planet Asia, West Coast King King.
he was like, "Yo, America had Big Daddy Kane and Rakim. Canada had you, the Maestro
That's a
Fresh.
fact. That's a
Coming from
fact.
coming from PA, that was
That's a
like,
fact.
I'm gonna go murder this show. I'm gonna go murk this show. Do you feel what I'm saying?
It
So
feels like that though. It
I
truly
needed that
does.
motivation at that right time. It was like that's what's up. You feel me?
Listen, you found ways to change your style throughout the years. Whether I listen to, I don't know, your first records, whether I listen to your more modern records, whether it's from Built to Last, or whether it's everything after that, you still sound like Maestro, but you sound like the rap of the moment. So it's like you've maintained your voice. You've maintained that Big Daddy Kaneism. I've heard that you've been told you're the Caribbean Kane. Um, but at the same time, you find ways to adapt. Like you've dropped verses to me, man, where like we've done a couple songs with Tona. Like I wrote them down. But point is, like your flow, sometimes you double time, sometimes you go hard. Like you rock well with guys that are popping of the moment, but you sound like yourself. You have a good, strong identity. You know who you are. You've had that sense for a long time.
Yeah, because one of my heroes is Quincy Jones, man. And Quincy
Okay.
Jones, he was making he was a jazz trumpet player in the 1950s and 60s.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now, if he was just to stay in the parameters of jazz, he would have not have been making disco records for Michael Jackson in the 80s. You see what I'm saying? So my
Yeah.
whole thing, Troy, excuse me, as an MC,
Yeah.
it's important for me to expand and not limit myself to certain parameters because I'm a golden era artist. I want to expand melodically, sonically. I know what multi syllables are. I've been doing it. I've got songs with bro. I got songs with Percy P, the Rhyme Inspector Percy P,
Yep.
Coogee
Yep.
Rap, Razzcast, Planet
G-Rap,
Asia. Yep,
Razzcast. And
like
that's
like
a
like
concept.
Cool Keith. I'm
I
talking
got
Adam Bomb, Dolo from Ghetto Concept. I know what multi syllables are.
yeah.
Just like Quincy Jones knew how to play a trumpet in the
Yes.
50s.
Mhm.
I want to do different things in 2024, fam. That's why when we did Talk to Be Nice, I want to try different things, different
Yeah.
syncopations. Ouvre la porte. I want to
That
try different
is,
things. And what does that mean? That means open the door. I want to open the door and do different things as opposed to be stuck in
listen,
these
you opened the
parameters.
door for me. When
God
I
bless.
think about Talk to Me Nice, beyond you doing a record with me, independent artist from Montreal, less hot city, less money. You know what I'm saying? We did a poppin' record, and also you pushed me to not be afraid to do a party record. Like I grew up on underground shit, but I grew up, the Biggie. I grew up dancing in the clubs. Like it, there's a little stigma of, oh, you trying to? No, bro. Like we have different emotions in life. And Talk to Me Nice was super poppin', super energetic, super of the moment. And your verse. sounded even more modern than mine. Like I'm still a lyrical, multi-syllabic dude. I'm good at what I do, but you are great at what you do, but you're not afraid of ouvre la porte. Like that, if we did a show tomorrow, that's the moment that everybody would say, you stop the beat, ouvre la porte. And she talked at me when she walked down the hallway. Yo, you're not afraid to take chances. You're not afraid to feel the rhythm and do what is required by the song.
So shout out to Cool Keith, Black Elvis. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That
Talk
that
about
that's
that
ultra,
connection.
yo, that's ultramagnetic critical beatdown. The connection is that.
Legends.
I said to myself, you know what? I'm gonna holler at Cool Keith to see if he wants to do a feature when I get home.
You hit him up.
I
That's
got home. I
good.
was about to hit him up. I checked that he was already hitting me up. I go, yo, Maestro, let's do a feature one day. Let's do a song.
That's wild. That's wild that he was hitting you up around the same time.
That's what I'm saying. That's skyscrapers. That's legendary stuff. Like we on a wave on a higher level. That's
So whether
sky.
it's Cool Keith hitting you up, whether it's showbiz, you're talking about
That's
digging in the crates, legendary crews, producing a major portion of your third album. Whether it's you working with Main Source, right? There's so much good, so much legendary talk. Can you talk about showbiz, for example? Can you talk about that connection?
no business. My hip hop brother from the BX, man.
That's
He made
dope.
me
And he
the
came to
vocal rap.
Toronto.
Huh?
He came to Toronto, right?
Yeah, we did fine tune the mic in Toronto.
That's
But
dope.
when he first met me, the first thing he say, like, yo, man, anybody ever tell you look like Rakim? I said,
Oh,
nah.
so Rakim.
I'm like, you the first one. And he just started laughing. We just started going through records. And then he saw my acumen, my sonic acumen. He was playing some beat. You know what producers do? They bob their heads and shit.
Of course.
Played me a rhythm. I'm like, yo, that same beat that you let me hear right now, that's Fifth Dimension. And that, on that same album, Large Professor gave that beat to Coogee Rap for Dead or Alive.
That's
So
dope.
when he saw me break that down, he's like, okay. Then he started digging. He did this. He did
That's
this.
crazy.
Then he started digging in the crates, and then he hit me with the Bring It On remix. And then he heard my
Yo.
bit, and then he was like, yo, he said, I slept on you, but it's not my fault.
That's madness.
No, he said you caught wreck. That was the term back then. You
Of
caught
course.
wreck.
I remember that.
I slept on you. And
You
then he was
caught
like,
right.
but then he goes, it's not my fault. And
Yeah,
this is what my brother meant.
what
He
did he
meant
mean when he said it ain't his fault?
what he meant by it's not his fault is if you at that time, this is 1992. So the perception is if you ain't from New York
Yeah. The
or
major
LA
centers.
or
Yeah.
LA,
Yeah.
he was just looking out for a brother like, yo, this guy's from Canada. Maybe I'll do a track. Like he just finished doing the Rest of Development remix for Tennessee. He's like, yo, this dude from Toronto likes my shit. Like let's work together. That's all he
It's
knew.
tough.
He
It's
didn't know me
tough.
like that. Then he heard me spit. Then he's like, yo, okay. That's what he meant by it's not his fault. Because in 1992, around them times, if you weren't from the tri-state area or Philly or New Jersey, like that,
100%.
or Cali, because at that time Ice Cube was like,
Cali was popping. Yup.
people didn't know that we were ready
NWA.
for like Canada, like not Texas, right?
People are
Not
never
not
used to what they
Florida,
haven't seen. Yeah. They're not
but
used to what they haven't seen.
Canada. Like he's like, nah, this
Yup.
kid can't be from Canada. You know what I'm saying?
That
So
was the ultimate compliment. Is that
that's
you
the
sound,
compliment.
if somebody closed their eyes, you sounded like everything that was at the highest level
But
coming out of New
to
York.
him, I didn't sound like every. To him, I had lyrics, but I sounded
I
different.
thought you had lyrics, but with all due respect, I meant it the highest level of form of hip hop at that time. That's what Maestro Freshway sounded like. I hope it didn't like come off the like, no, it didn't sound regular. You didn't sound regular.
I'm
You
nice, man.
sounded like
I mean,
you still are someone that
bro,
people listen to.
but let's talk about the '80s. You got to understand. I grew up listening to the greats.
Who did you
I
grow up on?
listened
Who
to the.
was your
I'm a
first
student,
favorite rapper? It's a
huh?
bad question. Who is a bad question? Who were your favorite rappers that you remember in your formative years? Like my favorite rappers in my formative years were Keith Murray. I like Nas. Like those two. I love Jay-Z as well, but like when I was young, my rap name was Science. No shit, I like Keith Murray. You know what I'm saying? Like, so who are the formative dudes? I also love the West Coast. I love that Snoop Dogg,
You
you
talking
know.
about, but what you talking about is like the early, like '80s and shit, right?
But what are your so in the early 80s, in the mid 80s, in your era, your
Oh, yo,
formative years, who was popping? Who did you like? LL. LL, right?
LL Cool J is hard as
Hard as hell.
everybody
Battle it. He got
out
it.
there. Still, they are you kidding me?
Hey,
LL
of
Cool J
course,
is the Muhammad
he's fresh.
Ali of rap.
Yeah. He made me want to pull my pant leg up. You know what I'm saying? He made me want to wear a FUBU,
Yo,
all that.
LL Cool J is the Muhammad Ali of rap. No,
Yeah.
no MC
Yeah.
has hits in the 80s, 90s, 2000, 2010s, 2020s. No MC got gold records in 5 different. LL Cool
That's a
J is the
lot of
Muhammad
errors.
Ali of rap. Leave
Shout
that
out
man
to
alone.
LL.
Leave that man alone, because he
Shout
came
out
in
to LL.
where you had, just like me, you had to go to the store and buy records. You had to
Yeah.
go to the store and buy records. You couldn't press a button and then your record, your song. No. You had to make an investment of your time and of your day to
I agree.
go buy records. Cardinal gave me a big shout out the other day on the red carpet. He said the era the Maestro Fresh West came out at was a time when the landscape was totally different, man.
Different. You had to set the path. There was no path. Maestro had to create a path. Sipping on a wine called Josh is wild. Like,
Grigio.
you know how we make pauses jokes all the time?
Too
Just
much,
the
too
way
much
that
fun.
sounds.
I'm about to tell you, too much for the part. Yo.
Tell me you
Heavy.
didn't drop the wine.
Nah.
Ooh.
Yo, family.
Yo, dude, you're talking
Yo.
to an artist. You know, the essence of this show is I wanted the world of people who are unsigned, who didn't have the dream story. You had the dream story. You won the Juno. You were the first. Show us that Juno.
Family.
Is it heavy?
Shit is mad
Like, is
heavy.
it hollow? Is it like a big, heavy, chunky Cuban chain?
I feel like Thor. You know what I'm saying?
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
You know what I'm saying?
Bro, these are championship rings.
You know what I'm saying, son?
Championship rings.
Oh, man. This is like Thor. This is like, yo, for me to lift this up, like, yo, boom.
Honestly.
And let me tell you something. This is an accolade that I'm proud of.
It's a celebration.
But, bro, what it symbolizes is 41 years of blood, sweat, and tears.
Let's get it.
And it also
put in the work.
It symbolizes like black music in Canada. Understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
This is it's heavy, and I got accolades around me, but this right here shows that you know, being in the Hall of Fame is not about me. It's about hip hop in Canada. Canadian hip hop made it to the Hall of Fame in Canada. You know what I'm saying?
Always build a path.
That's why you're the first one who's seen this shit too, son. Only because your name
what? From mom's crib. Let's get it. Listen.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So,
I like to think that we have a good bond and a good mutual respect. And when I see you winning that Juno, I truly mean this. On the world, they say,
man, I'm still celebrating. I ain't a cloud. Listen. I'm on a cloud.
Hear these flowers. I'm
on cloud 99, family.
You should. People say only your mom wants you to do better than them. I could tell you that as a rap fan, I look at Maestro, who did songs with me, who doing more songs than me, who showed me his Juno as the first time he pulls it out.
You're the first
Pause.
one.
It feels good. It feels good. Pause.
Yeah.
Hey, yo. Hey, yo.
I'm not even on a pause shit like you are, but that one deserves a fucking pause.
Hey, yo. So seriously, first time you demonstrate the championship belt. How does it feel? I mean, listen, you clearly knew. I mean, I knew. It made sense to me that Maestro would hit the Hall of Fame. Was it a surprise to you? I mean, it wasn't, right? You knew the work you put in. You knew the work you put in.
Because Alan Reed told me years ago, like you said, before I retire, you know what I'm saying, you're going to get a Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So what I did was, all jokes aside, like, I don't really feel that comfortable with awards and stuff like that. So what I did was I started, like, the Maestro Fresh West Scholarship. So I got a scholarship for Black youth in Nova Scotia Community College.
Talk to him.
For Black youth, specifically for Black youth interested in learning skilled trades. Yeah. And that's where my head is at, because we don't got a shortage of rappers, but we definitely got a shortage of Black youth interested in learning how to use their hands, skilled trades.
So I've always believed that. Beyond, I mean, it is a black thing more than anything. A lot of us want to be athletes, a lot of us want to be entertainers. But the reality is, as much as it's not a sexy job, being a plumber, there will always be someone who needs a plumber. You can make 75 a year. You know what I'm saying?
And
Being
that
a
will help you for your video. That
I'm
will
just
help you.
saying.
That will help you for your next projects.
Listen,
You put a down payment on your crib, and you still have time to like shoot a couple videos, tour if you want, put out your music, get all
let's
your
talk
streams
reality.
along the line. I'm just trying to save lives, man.
I
That's
love
what I'm
what you're
here to
doing.
do.
Let's
Yeah.
talk reality. You had a God's blessing of being one of the earlier trailblazers. Clearly, it was skill, but there was a blessing involved there. I'm the kind of artist who had to become a personal trainer. Yeah, rap wasn't working for me. I figured out, you know what? I'm an athletic guy. I learned the trade, became a trainer, came back with some trainer money, filmed my own videos. My point is, not everyone's going to have the blessing of making it right away. Not everyone's going to be a street dude, take 20 off the streets and film a video. It's okay to have a job. Feed your family. Be self-sufficient. You know what I'm saying? Go to the studio, pay your way. I respect that.
You got to remember, like, I've been blessed because, they said allegedly that last year was hip hop's 50th anniversary.
Yes.
Some of the brothers in the BX think it's actually the 53rd. I'm gonna leave that alone between them. The bottom line
Okay.
is it's
Okay.
5 decades.
Allegedly.
The bottom line is 5 decades, right?
It's a long
But
time. It's a long
guess
time.
what? My parents just celebrated their 57th anniversary, and
God
I'm
blessing for
lucky to
that.
have my father in my life, my mother in my life, of course, right?
Beautiful black example.
The black father is public enemy number one. Remember, I told you that. The black father is public enemy number one. By removing that father figure out there, it's how these kids is being controlled and doing all what they're doing, what have you. But that's what I'm trying to show you. Something like this, I'm trying to
You
spit
still
game.
want to touch the streets. You still want to touch,
You can still do
connect
whatever
with the
you
young
want, live
people.
fly, but you're making paper. You see what I'm saying? And from that, you can do what you want to do, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at with the scholarship.
I see what
And
you're
I'm
doing.
very proud. I want to say shout out to the Nova Scotia Community College for believing in me and having me, you know, a part of that. That's a beautiful thing. I spoke to the recipient.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say his name out, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I spoke to the brother and he's so excited and grateful. And
Of
that's
course.
that's how I feel. That's what I'm supposed to do, my
You're
brother.
passing it forward.
That's
That's how
it.
your blessings come through. I'm not going to get you into a spiritual conversations, but you know what I'm saying? There is a magnificent blessing in giving back. And that's infinite karma and what's going to come for you in the future, right? You know the blessings you had, you're passing it forward. Here's a quick question. Canadian icon, Toronto staple, but one of the major things that I found about Maestro Fresh West early is American energy. You sounded just like the best American artist, only with Canadian lingo here and there. And you were in the US. At some point, you were even you went from acting, you went into acting after the music, right? I think in the 2000s, and you were in some movies. You were in some iconic movies for short stints. Iconic street culture, cult following movies. Can you name a movie that I'm thinking about right now? With Killer?
You think of Four Brothers and Paid in Full.
I'm thinking about Killer. I'm thinking about Paid in Full. Yes, Four Brothers, but I'm thinking about Paid in Full. All right. Can we talk about Maestro in Paid in Full?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So shout out to Paul Sarasi, who was
Shout out to Paul Sarasi.
he was the videographer of Let Your Backbone Slide in 1989.
That's
So
wild. That
when
connection
he
lasted that long.
yeah, so when he saw me when he saw me on set, because I didn't have any dialogue, when he saw me on set, he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna
You
make
got to
sure
start
that
in the
you,
basement.
huh?"
You got to start in the basement, right? You starting a new art form in some way?
He made sure that when I sat beside Mackay Pfeiffer playing Money Mitch, that I
Mm-hmm.
got some shine off that because Painful was filmed in Hamilton, Toronto,
Okay.
as well as Harlem.
Toronto North. I
I,
mean,
I
Hollywood
want to
North.
I want to say a big shout out to my brother Mackay Pfeiffer, who we did Honey together as well. But
You did Honey. You were in Honey as well.
yeah, I was in Honey.
I love these random moments
But watch,
of
but watch, watch,
intel.
watch.
Jules.
I'm about to drop a jewel on you. So
Jules.
we're in the dressing room. We're in the
Yeah.
trailer. paid in full.
Mm-hmm.
I said to Mekhi Phifer, Clockers was dope, but what you did in Lesson Before Dying, that was even better. That's another movie he was in. So
That's
he looked at
crazy.
me and he gave me a hug, like, yo. But the way he gave me the hug was like, yeah, people don't understand I'm an actor. Yeah, I did what I did in Clockers, but like Lesson Before Dying, I go, that was the shit, right? So I said to him, listen, man, I'm new, I'm starting acting. What movies should I study to be like? What movies do you suggest I study? So watch what Mekhi Phifer told me. Pimps Up, Hoes Down, which is a documentary, and then he told me uh what's that movie with Dustin Hoffman? It's coming back to me. Wag the Dog. He told me Pimps Up, Hoes Down, and Wag the Dog. Those are
Okay,
the
so
two movies that
I don't
Mekhi
see the
Phifer,
wisdom.
huh?
So you made artist, platinum selling, humbly comes through on an acting set
I
asking
asked the dude,
an
what movie should
acting
I watch?
goat.
I'm trying to be like you. What movie should I study? Because in hip
Yeah,
hop, I know I study Rakim. I study
yeah.
KRS-One. I
You came
study
through on the
Public Enemy.
humble.
I study Big Daddy Kane. So I got transferable skills and a point of
Mm-hmm.
reference of how to do with
Yes,
acting. You're nice
yes.
with acting. What movie should you suggest that I study? My dude told me Pimps Up, Hoes
Hose
Down,
down.
and Wag the Dog. So what I did, I went to Queen Videos. I rented Pimps Up, Hoes Down, and
And,
Wag the Dog, right?
and what did you think?
Now, I'm like, I didn't ask questions. I just went and I watched that. I'm like, okay, this is a documentary about pimping. All right, okay. Shout out to Bishop Juan, Don Juan, and all these the pimp game and whatever. And then I went
Listen,
to
you gave blind faith to someone that you respected in that
Blind Faith,
field.
right? So then I watched Wag the Dog.
I don't even know that movie.
That's when Dustin Hoffman played a political. I think he was a PR person
Okay.
for the government.
Okay.
So basically, the president had an affair or whatever like that. So his job was to spin people's attention into creating a war.
Gotcha.
So they showed the green screen. They got a little girl with a cat holding a cat, and behind her, you saw like tanks. You saw grenades going off. They created
war
a
stuff.
war, right? And it was a very interesting movie. But then I thought to myself, why would Mekhi Phifer tell me to watch this? And what's the similarities between two of these movies?
What was the symbolism? What was the symbolism?
Manipulation.
Oh.
That's what the thing is right there. The pimp game is manipulation.
Yes.
That's all manipulation.
Yes.
Politics and the spin doctors, that's all manipulation. So now he's on set playing Rich Porter.
Yeah.
He's manipulating that character as Money Mitch. Mekhi Phifer didn't know how to drive a standard.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to drive a standard. He was learning with me, and I'm going like this with him. While he's learning how to drive a standard.
Wow. For the movie.
He was driving a black Saab. But he embodied the character of Rich Porter in the essence of Money Mitch.
Yeah.
By manipulating the character to make this come to life. The reason he told me Pimps Up, Hoes Down, and Wag the Dog was because both of those movies dealt with manipulation.
Gotcha.
As a dope actor, you got to learn how to manipulate that camera and make it organic and make it real. I never came back to him and told him, and I understand why you told me. Nah, that was for me to take that and run with it. You feel me?
For you to manipulate, essentially to understand the role, to learn your lines,
bro.
And then afterwards,
you know, I almost had a whiplash on my brother trying to learn to drive stick, but he looked good doing it.
He looked good doing it. Either way, he didn't budge.
He didn't budge. He was becoming Rich Porter, manipulating that character in the essence.
And if you were Rich Porter and you couldn't drive stick properly and you were the kingpin that you are, would you let anybody see you sweat? No.
Now you look fresh to death.
So that's how he owned that role of manipulation. I get it.
Watch those two movies, right?
Jules, hidden Jules.
Man, that's my brother.
Okay, so another movie that you were in, a movie with Jamie Foxx. I'm only asking these things. The movie you were in Four Brothers also with Andre 3000. Now, these are people who are in the music scene. I don't know if Jamie Foxx was doing music at the time. I can't make that timeline work, but Andre 3000, did you get a chance to have a couple words with him? Did you even talk music with him, or did you walk in there as an actor and you didn't mention the music scene?
I just walked in his music, man. I mean, sorry, I just walked in his business.
As an actor, right? Business.
Yeah, I shook his hand, and that was it. This
Okay.
is work time, and that was it. Like, we had
That
a
was
lot
his
of
time.
jokes on set. We had a lot, and shout out to Andre, but also shout out to Chiwetel Ejiofor, who played Victor Sweet in that movie.
Okay, shout out to Victor Sweet. You
Yeah,
rode
I
with
was
him in the
pissed.
car.
Huh?
You rode with him in your scene, right?
Yeah, he's funny. He got jokes, and then when we did uh Redemption,
Yeah.
I actually had a chance to speak to the original Tookie Williams because that's the character that Jamie Foxx played in Redemption. He played the character Stanley Tookie Williams, and I had a
So
chance to speak to Tookie, who was obviously on the San
locked up.
Quentin. Yeah,
So you spoke to Tookie William, the founder
of the
of the
Crip.
Crib Gang, right? The
Yeah,
Crips,
yeah,
and you spoke to him to get a better feel for
yeah,
what
yeah,
your
yeah. Because
character would be.
I just want to get the right vibe of the character because the character I played was a brother by the name of Tony Bogart. Rest in peace as well. Tony Bogart was a liaison between Tookie, who was incarcerated, and the Crips.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I just want to get like the right. Um, if he had any suggestions of how I should play the role, that's all. You know,
You always got to come through on the humble. When you come into the rap game, I'm sure you studied the greats, the ones that came
yeah,
before you. You
yeah,
cared about your craft. Anybody who's in the biz for 40 years, anybody who's in anything for a long duration in comparison to their peers, you know that they have a respect for the art. You have to respect the art, right? You got to come through on the humble. Okay, let's talk about your early influences. Early rap songs that you remember that had you thinking, I want to rap.
Roxanne, Roxanne by UTFO.
Who
Um,
you opened up for ended up being instrumental in your path to success. Go on.
the Message by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five.
Legendary OG Talk. OG
I got
Talk.
a chance to perform with two of the members of Rappers Delight,
That's
obviously
wow.
Sugar Hill Gang.
Remarkable.
So I performed.
Legendary things.
Um,
Legendary things.
I performed with Big Daddy Kane on Christmas Eve, 1989, concert hall.
Okay. Hold on. So 1989, Big Daddy Kane, top of his powers, Maestro, start of his powers. How was that night?
That was dope, man. That's something that goes in the record books, man. You know what I'm
Right?
saying, open up for one of the greatest of all time.
Are you nervous? Are you aware at that time? Do you speak to them? Do you give them flowers? Or you just come in there like, yo, I'm OG too. I know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know if I would give too many flowers. I think I might just come in there with a little bit of
I just came in to eat
stern.
food. I just came in to eat food. That's all.
That's it. You come there focused. Like, you know you one of them too. You aware that he's one of hims, but you're like, yeah, but I'm one of them.
Exactly.
You,
That's how that went. And with the utmost respect at the same time, because I bought your records.
you do. You
But
do. But it's
this is
still.
business. This is business. I got it, especially in Toronto. Christmas Eve, 1989. The Maestro
So,
franchise opened up for Big Daddy Kane. Man, like yo, and
okay. How,
that was my last concert hall.
really? That's a
Performance.
major venue.
Yeah,
That's a major venue.
that's where I
Shout
met
out to
MC
Kane.
Flight from Montreal. I met him at the concert hall.
MC Flight.
And
That's
and
some
I just want to
original
say,
Montreal talk.
listen. I just want to
Yes,
say
yes.
special shout out to Montreal because
Real City.
I just got inducted in the Canadian Music Hall of Fame. But when I received my first Juno, Leonard Cohen, who's from Montreal, he received he received his Hall of Fame award. And
Blessing.
you see what I'm
Talk
saying?
about being next to giants.
Next to Giants, B, and then it's like boom. Michael Williams was a host of Rap City. He from Montreal, family.
That's
Do you get what I'm
beautiful.
saying?
That's
Mike
beautiful.
Williams, I just did a Christmas concert in Toronto with Andy Kim. He from Montreal. He had Sugar. Oh, honey,
Honey,
honey.
honey, ta na 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 ta
He's
ta.
from
You are
Montreal,
my
family.
candy girl. What? Andy
Yo,
Kim,
Andy Kim reached
Montreal
out to me.
legend.
reached out to me to perform reached out to me to perform at his Christmas concert, man.
Yo,
I had to
blessings,
respond and murder.
blessings.
But the point I'm trying to make to you is Montreal been dope, guy. When I met MC Flight back in like '85, I'm like, all right, boom. And then later with Michael Williams, man.
Listen,
There's so many legends out of Montreal, man.
Montreal fucks with you. Montreal really has a lot of love and respect for Maestro.
And
Issue
yo,
with
Montreal
Montreal.
got me. I'm in the Golden Book in City Hall. I ain't in the Golden Book of Toronto yet. But
Mo-
Montreal, shout out to Preach.
Montreal.
Shout out to Preach. He
He
got
gave
me.
you the keys. Nice. Shout out to Preach.
I got in
That's an
the
OG.
Golden Book of Montreal. How fresh
A lot of
is
respect for
that?
Preach. A lot
You
of
know what I'm
respect for and
saying?
shout out to Montreal for giving you the keys early. I love
But
to
shout
hear
out to
that.
yourself, Troy Dunnit, man. You know what I'm saying?
Listen.
I'm a
Listen,
fan of your
honestly,
music from
I
time. You know what I'm
appreciate you.
saying?
You know how that makes me feel? Listen, you have the most, you have, I did this show because I really just wanted to give people their flowers. I'm the kind of guy who, I know who I am. And I love watching people who are one of them. And you are the original him. And when we connected musically, you gave me some advice earlier on. At the time I was doing Not Gangsta. It was more of a backpack hardcore song, which I still love to battle at times. But you were telling me, don't be afraid of making big records. And to this day, my biggest record, Talk to Me Nice, came from our collaboration. You were like, yo, Troy, let's do this. Let's do a song. And I had this beat in the chamber for a while. I wasn't sure what to do with it. I wasn't sure if I could take it to the level that it needs to go. And the minute you liked the intro and you told me, yeah, let's fuck with this, man, I got the blessing of inspiration. And I think one of the biggest records that I've done in my career. You know what I'm saying? Next to the ultimate Canadian success representation. You're the original Canadian black music story to me. I know there's other artists you told me, but hip hop is like the art form that connects a lot with the black youth. And Maestro is the first black success story that I could think of. You're like, you know how LeBron's the greatest sports success story? You're like the greatest music success story. You started off in popping in '89. We 2024. And you on TV in the judos. They love it, Maestro. Honestly, like brush your shoulders off. Let's talk real quick about the Toronto scene. Do you find that the Toronto scene, okay, you opened up, you did a lot of shows at the beginning of your career. Did you find that that helped? Was it a tough crowd? Was Toronto really messing with you? Did Let Your Backbone Slide change all that? And then they became more cheerful at your shows? What was the early shows for Maestro?
Early shows was like '84, '85. I opened up for Beastie Boys, man, when they came out. I didn't
That's
even know
tough.
about white rappers before. I opened up for Beastie Boys, Cutmaster DC, DJ Key, Sparky D. So
That's
I
dope.
did opened up for a lot of acts. You know what I'm saying? So,
Did it
um,
help?
of course it helped. You know, it helped me too, like reading like Right On, rap pages, because
Yes.
I read like how like Melly Mel would talk about how dope you got to be to do a show.
Yeah.
So I
Listen,
studied how to do it. So
you're a natural. I watched how you performed at your Juno award celebration,
thank you.
and you dropped initially the song with Jordan over
Underestimated.
underestimated, right? You dropped underestimated with Jordan. Afterwards, you dropped. I forget. I know you dropped Let Your Backbone Slide. Hold on. Don't tell me. You dropped conducting things. You dropped conducting things, which has a great Caribbean vibe. Let's talk about conducting things. Your second album, that Caribbean vibe. Is this something that you wanted to do? Embrace the Toronto culture and do it in a way where you'd have a little more of an identity. The first record was meteoric, but it sounded like the best hip hop out of New York, who happens to be from Toronto.
I was
Conducting
listen,
things
man.
had a little more swag, if you prefer, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. Like, shout out to K Cut and Large
All right.
Professor on
Shout
the
out
drum.
to Art Lecture Pete.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like Large Professor helped K Cut put the drums together. I just knew I couldn't
For
compete with
conducting things?
conductors. Yeah, that's extra piece drums.
Hold up! The world doesn't get to realize what that is. That's like, really, that's Extra P. When I met Extra P in New York, I felt like I met one of them again.
So him and
And
K Cut did the drums for that. Like because you know with Scott, it's a certain swing you need. You know what I'm saying?
it's
So
a ska energy, yes.
so Kevin K Cut had it, but then Large Professor put his sprinkle on that. So shout out to but yo, watch this. while we were mixing Conducted Things,
Yeah,
Maestro was just finishing mixing their album, Breaking Atoms. And
yes.
all they were talking about was a song called Live at the Barbecue.
Woo!
All they were talking about. Like I was getting like,
When I was 12, I went to jail for stuffing Jesus. I mean,
bro, that's all they were talking about. This kid from Queensbridge named Nasty Nas. They wouldn't stop talking. I'm getting chills right now, fam.
did you know? Did you know
Huh?
when you heard that verse? Did you know that he was one of them? Did it feel like he's dope, but they
Bro, bro,
wildin'? Did
bro,
it
bro,
feel like
bro.
who the hell is he?
Bro, I got that verse. I can spit that backwards because all they did was rewind that over and over and over and over and over again.
These
Live at the
moments.
barbecue.
These
Main
moments.
source with
Legendary
a kid
moments.
from Queens named Nasty Nas, man. And I met Nas. He was at K Cut's crib. I met him. I shook his hand like, yo, peace. He ain't gonna remember that. But
Woo!
I met him. He was in Corona, Queens,
Blessing.
messing with Paulie, aka Large Professor. And
It's
yeah, he
funny
goes,
you mentioned Corona, Queens. When I
he
lived in New
said
York, I
Maestro
lived
Fresh
in East
West.
Elmhurst,
He said
right
Maestro.
after Corona. Yeah,
He said Maestro Fresh West meet Nasty Nas. And
that's wild.
shook his hand, B. You know what I'm saying? He was 15. The kid was incredible,
That's
man.
wild. That's wild. These are like incredible stories. And incredible that you mentioned Corona, Queens. When I lived in New York, I used to pass by Corona, Queens all the time and take the bus up to East Elmhurst. They're connected neighborhoods in New York. So I was in Corona, and that's where B Nuts is from. Anyways, funny that you say that. Okay, let's go back to Electric Circus real quick. Rewind. I got to get back to Much Music, Electric Circus, and what you mentioned as being one of the main conductors in you getting a record deal that the support that you needed for Let Your Backbone Slide to reach the success that it did. What's the story? The Electric Circus was more of a dance show. So was it that at the inception? Or did Maestro
So
Fresh West come through and just
I
drop?
gotta say a shout out to my brother Lord Jamar from the legendary brand Nubian because he
Yeah,
made a good point.
legends.
Anybody who came from the states, they had to go to Electric Circuit. So it wasn't just a dance show, even though it was a dance show.
Ah,
MCs were on, and it wasn't just local artists either, like myself. I met Schoolie D as well. I met Ice
that's
T
wild.
as well. I met artists
Woo!
there.
Ice T. Like these are the
You know what I'm
OGs of
saying?
OGs. Like at the time.
So when I performed there, they liked me. I did a song called "You Can't Stop Us Now." Electric
Mhm.
Circus, like what I did. My mom and my dad, especially my mom's, was like, "You better go back to school. This shit is whack. You're wasting your life." But then Electric Circus called me back one more time, and Farley Flex, who was my manager at the time, was like, "Yo, if Electric Circus is calling us back, maybe we go back on once again." And I
Wow.
performed a song called "Let Your Backbone Slide" for the first time. Stevie B, who's a
Let Your
legendary rapper.
Backbone Slide was performed for the first time on Electric Circus. This is a moment of Canadian history. If you remember watching Much Music, if you grew up watching the 90s era of rap, this is a legendary moment. And this is intel, this is jewelry for all the hip hop heads. Let's talk about
So
it.
speaking of the jewelry, you know what I'm saying? Stevie B was like, yo, he connected us with his label that he was signed to, which was
Mm-hmm.
LMR Records.
Yeah.
We were about to sign to a label called Eureka. Eureka Records.
LMR. Eureka was supposed to be the first option, and then LMR ended up being your support
LaFrac
system.
Marlin, LaFrac City in Queens, LaFrac,
Left Rack for sure.
all this, and then yeah,
Hold,
so
hold up. The LMR was from Left Rack?
yeah.
Again, these are crazy stories. You're telling me things like I went to chill in Left Rack. Too much information, but I had a girl that I was
Akinelli's
friends
my
with.
dude. When Akinelli
In
met
Left
me,
Rack.
yeah, Akinelli was happy to see me, man. I'm on a label called Left Rack because that's where he from. Like him and Nori. I never met Nori at the time, but like when
That's what I kept thinking about when I used to pull up. It's like, yo, Nori used to be from here. Is he gonna be somewhere? Like that's when it sounds horrible.
yeah. But when Mans heard I was I was on a label called Left Rack. They smiled. They always smiling because that's where they from. They're from Left Rack City in
That's
Queens, New York. So
beautiful.
that's the label I signed to Left Rack LMR Records. You know what I'm
Did you
saying?
live? Did you stay in like at the time? New York was such a major part of hip hop.
Brooklyn,
Did you have to
Brooklyn.
be in New York a lot?
I was in Brooklyn. I moved in
You
92 to 97. I live in Brooklyn.
92. So for 5 years, were those good years? I know New York for me, those were expensive years. I lived there later on, 2001, 2006. Like, how was New York for you?
The greatest, because
Really?
I don't know what it was. People just like me, man. And they like me for me.
Yeah, you an engaging dude. You're a good dude.
Like Showbiz was just like, yo, let's work together, man. He gave me a couple beats for free, man. He's like, yo, let's work together, family.
I don't think
Showbiz.
you understand who Showbiz at the time. Showbiz and AG, Digging in the Crates. They started Fat Joe's career, Big L's career. Like these
Yo,
are.
listen, me and Big L and Kid Capri did background vocals for a song called Hard to Kill, which is on the Showbiz and AG album. I'm in the studio,
Dude.
family. I'm in the studio. I got there first because Show invited me to the session.
Of course
I
you'd be
just
there promptly.
boom, because I'm from like, oh my goodness, right?
On
So
the humble. On the humble.
Herb McGruff and Big L came.
Harlem.
So when Big L see me, he's like, "Yo, are you the engineer?" I go, "No, I go by the name of the Maestro Fresh West. Pleased to meet you." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then after Kid Capri came, Showbiz and AG came, they were
Yeah.
working on a song called Hard to Kill. And
That's insane.
so asked me to go in the booth. So it was me, him, and Kid Capri, me, Big L, and Kid Capri, who did the backgrounds for Hard to Kill. So when you hear that song again, my brother's from Texas. Yo, I watch this though.
I'm gonna go bump Hard to Kill. Legendary moments.
Watch. When AG was writing his verse, he was writing the chorus.
Yeah.
He wanted to say, "My brother's from DC. It's hard to kill. My sister's from Texas. It's hard to kill." Showbiz was like, "Yo, fam, you can't say your sister's in Texas. I'm gonna have Willie B screaming at me, man. You gotta say your brother's from Texas. It's hard to kill." You know what I'm saying? So AG, like, he fixed that. He was like, "Yo, boom."
Literally.
Yeah. I remember him saying, "You gotta."
Because Willie D out there in Texas would have been like, nah.
I'm saying Showbiz told AG's like, "Yo, switch that. You can't say your sister's from
Because
Texas.
Willie D would be wild.
I'm gonna have Willie B." He said, "I'm gonna have Willie D screaming at me. You're gonna have to change that to my brothers from Texas. It's hard to kill." Boom. He did that, and then I remember like Big L said,
"Shout out to the Ghetto Boys."
I never told the story before. This is what I'm about to say. So Big L was there. He was like, "Yo, fellas, I got an idea for a song I want to do." He goes, "You see how Ice Cube got that joint, Gangsta Fairy Tale?"
Yeah.
He goes, "I got an idea. I'm gonna have a whole bunch of kids say, 'Yo, Big L, can you tell us a bedtime story?' And I want to say, 'Fuck the kids. I'm the devil's son,' like whatever, right?" Wow. Showbiz was like, "Yo, L, how you can say F the kids, man? Kids are buying your records, man." Like, Big L said, "Yeah, I was just joking." He wasn't joking.
He wasn't.
He wasn't joking.
That Lifestyle of the Poor and Dangerous.
I'm just saying. Huh?
That was a hard album. His first album, Lifestyle of the Poor and Dangerous.
But I remember Show was vexing him. He's like, "Yo, what you mean you want to say F the kids, man? Don't you know the kids are buying your records?" And then L was like, "Nah, I was just joking, fellas."
Listen, he still had some of the harder, next level, morbid lines in rap. You know what I'm saying? Listening to Cam over the years, I realized that Harlem, that part of Harlem, the danger zone, is a little different. It's a little bit different. Okay, let's talk TV shows. Let's talk about you being able to pivot throughout the years. How do you manage, or how do you choose what you want to do? Race Against the Tides, Maestro, Chef West. Is it really you getting approached by executive producers that you trust? Is it you having ideas? How does that work?
Yo, I got a 15-year-old and his son and his feet are still growing, fam.
Yeah.
So that's the priority. You feel me?
You gotta hustle.
I didn't get these accolades because of good looks, because look how long it took me to get what I'm doing. So
you go
I
hard.
work extremely hard. I take care of my son, and God is blessing me. I'm being rewarded right now.
All day.
So all these things that I'm doing because I must have done something right. You feel me? So when you see me with Race Against the Tide,
you grind. And honestly, you're also good with people.
Chef West, I treat people good, but Maestro Chef West, I ain't the galloping gourmet family. I just figure, let me try to start producing my own TV shows.
Smart.
And see how it goes. And I did something right where people check for me. Shout out to Bell 51 for believing in me. My co-producers, Chad Wesley.
Shout out to Bell.
Lauren, my man Lachlan.
Shout out to the crew, the co-producers. Listen,
Yeah, because
you learning from the ones that came before you. You learn that in hip hop, what we know is we make it happen. Sometimes blessings come through and we have collaborators. Sometimes you have to make
a lot
it
of people,
happen.
you just mentioned the word collaborator. A lot of people want to collaborate with Tupac and do a song with him. I never wanted to do a song with him. I wanted to do a movie with him because when I saw him with Omar Epps in Juice, I'm
Right?
like, yo,
Right?
I want to do a movie with Tupac. I'm like, yo, let's me and you fight on the top of a roof, and then laugh about it afterwards. That was my mentality where it's like, okay, boom, that's the next wave right there, fam. Like,
Absolutely.
don't let anybody restrict you within the parameters of music and tell you got 15 minutes of fame.
That's
That's
it.
just a launching point.
You have
And
one
I know we
life.
only got
You choose what you
a
want to
minute
do.
left.
You choose. Yep, we
Yeah,
got
man.
it. You choose how far and where Maestro is going to go. Maestro could talk about food with you.
Exactly.
Maestro could talk about music with you. Could talk about racing together. You are a celebrity right now. You're a respected person in the
Oh,
world of the
bro.
arts. I mean, and from
Thank you, my brother.
Scarborough, what does Scarborough mean to you? Like you mentioned Scarborough in so many of your songs.
I
I
said,
noticed that
yo,
you
I don't make
collaborate with a lot
records.
of
Family. I said I don't make records. I make history. I represent
history.
Toronto, but Scarborough specifically.
You
You know
rep
what I'm
heavy.
saying?
Listen, I see you still working with Sox. You're working with Cardinal. I don't know if he's from where he's the same neighborhood, but you work with Rich Kid. You work with a lot of
Saga.
people from the city. You work with a lot
Yeah,
of
man.
people who are on the come up, who are sometimes underground, who are sometimes mainstream. Like
Guess what? Guess
you
what?
do it for the art,
I'm
and the
also
blessings
working
come
with my
down.
brother from I'm also working with my brother from Montreal. He go by the name first name Troy, last name Dunnit. You know what I'm
What? You
saying?
know the kid? Listen, hold on. I feel like this is the biggest blessing. I told you, this is the biggest blessing. Talk to me nice. Let's talk about talk to me nice in a second and more work. Let's talk about talk to me nice and more than that. Let's talk about one our collaboration. Talk to me nice. That's still the biggest record I've ever done in my music career. Let's talk about you doing songs with Tona. Let's talk about you doing songs about Toronto with Rich Kid, who I think that song is my favorite one. I mean, you have a lot of songs that I like, but that one for me, your little two line, 2 bar for 2 bar, 4 bar for 4 bar, rocking about Toronto. It's probably one of my favorite, not celebrated, super celebrated songs of Maestro Fresh West. How do you pick your collaborations? Um, how do you maintain such a connection to the Toronto scene, regardless of the era that you came in? Like, I can't front. Like, I'm in Toronto, in Montreal right now, doing my thing musically, and I connect well with the artists of my era in Montreal. But I'm not out there reaching down for the 20-year-olds. If it happens, it happens. Sometimes I get messages and boom, let's collab. But like you truly, do you reach out to people? Do you essentially have a mentality of, I know who I am, but you're dope. Let's talk. Do you forget who you are in terms of accolades and connect based on art?
Nah, I know I'm dope, but it's like at the end of the day, like I humbly say that Rich Kid is one of my mentors, man. When I say that, I mentioned earlier to you, like Socrates, friggin' like King Rain,
Shout out to Sox, shout out to King Rain. Rest in peace.
Promise. Rich Kid. Rich Kid is a
Yeah.
dude that like he listens to my bars and be like, okay, take this line out here, let the bitch breathe right over here like that, flip that over here like this, okay, pitch this over here like that. That's like my that's like that's why I'm Millennium Stro right now, fam. The
But you have the
reason,
humbleness. You got the humbleness of being like, okay, he's a little bit younger. He's of the moment. He's telling me this. I will heed. Not everybody feels that
if I
way,
didn't have that, I wouldn't still be here, man. And the thing is,
right?
a lot of these young guys wouldn't really respect me the way they do.
Boom. You ain't got that foolish pride. You really fuck with what's popping. You
Nah, because
understand. You
it's like
listen.
I know I could school them on stuff. I know
And
that
a
fact.
million things, of
But I'm
course.
humble enough to know that they could school me on it. And two, then we worked together with Dangerous, man. With
Absolutely.
Dangerous. So I came
You
up
have
with the
some
concept. I came up with the
huge
concept.
tunes.
Oh, I'm born in Toronto, raised in Toronto. If I wanted to, I could run for mayor of Toronto. Then you come in, you say whatever, boom. We end with Toronto.
Hard.
That was my that was the concept. Then
One
he
of
covered his
my
lines. We wrote that together. Shout out to 38 Special and Benny the Butcher, man. Two of my favorite
really.
MCs. They motivated me with that. Like those guys, they go back to back, bar for bar, man.
I love to know that you mentioned two poppin' street rappers of the moment. So 38 Special, who Dave One from Chromeo put me on to him. I was sleeping or just wasn't aware. Benny the Butcher, I've seen him as not super nice for a minute. And sometimes he's super lyrical, sometimes he messes with the flow. He's not afraid of taking risks in the underground realm. Who are your influ who do you fuck with in this era of rap?
Those are two MCs I told you, man. Benny
Boom.
the Butcher for the last 8 years, man. It's nothing new. I told people, watch out for that kid.
He's
Watch out for
hard.
Benny the
He's
Butcher.
hard.
38
Absolutely.
Special is nasty. That's where
Yes.
I got my that motivate me. That's what motivated Born in Toronto. That
I love it.
Rochester youth right there.
I
38
love it.
Special. He had an album called The Son of Coogee Rap.
Just to know that you're up on 38 Special like that
That
is
dude is
just
that's one of the dopest MCs in hip hop.
that's
Like
strolls. The kids out there messing with rap want to know who you're listening to in this era.
38 Special.
38 Special, Benny the Butch. The Butcher
And
coming, nigga.
you gotta understand. I'm not trying to rhyme like those dudes. I'm just saying
No, you're celebrating it.
you're dope, and that dopeness gives
Exactly.
me energy for me to do what I gotta do my way. You feel what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's what I told Presser when I met Presser on the red carpet. Shout out to Dub J. Dub J was like, "Yo, boom, you ever met Presser before?" I go, "Presser." Yo. Then
That's
I went over
wild.
like, "Yo, how you doing? I'm the Maestro Fresh West.
Big
Pleased to
moment.
meet you." I go, "Bunda?" Because he had the mask on his face. I go, "Bunda?" He's like, "Yeah."
That's wild. What is that? You said Bunda? What does that mean?
Bundog is Presser's brother. He's the brother
Oh,
with the mask on his face all the time.
didn't even know. I don't know Toronto scene like
That's
that.
what I'm
So
saying.
essentially,
So
you
I'm
know
like,
his homie. You knew his homie. Okay.
Bundog? He just he just
Yo.
nodded his head, give me a pound like this. And I go, YG. And I started quoting YG's lyrics.
Yeah.
And he thought he saw a ghost. These brothers, bro, I got the sage fedora on.
I
I
love
got the
that.
sage double-breasted suit on.
I see that.
The
I saw that.
last
You
thing
had
these
looking
guys
dip,
ain't
looking
thinking that I know,
fresh.
huh? They ain't thinking I
Looking
know the music.
no,
And I'm like,
no.
yo, fam. And then when they saw that, I was like, yo, I can't rhyme or say the shit that you're saying, but that energy that you got, that's youth.
You
That's young.
connect. That's
Hip hop, that
fact.
young energy is what gives me the energy to do what I got to
100%.
still do. You feel me?
100%. 100%. 100%. Here's a quick question. Okay, so when you dropped, nah, this kid can't be from Canada. Um, very often I would hear that when I was in the US. When I lived there often, like, man, you from Montreal, you from Canada? Like guys just wouldn't equate skills or what they considered skills with Canadian. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's ever a diss, but we almost had the same mentality. When we used to hear people out of Canada who were nice, we were like, man, he sounds like he's from somewhere else, kind of thing. It's we don't have that mentality anymore, but we used to. I think that changed. When do you think that changed?
You gotta say shout out to the brother by the name of Drake, man.
You think it's really?
You gotta say you have to give Drake the credit that he
It kind
deserves.
of started with Cardinal and
No,
then
no, no.
went to
Obviously,
Drake.
listen. Cardi's my favorite Toronto rapper.
I
Leave
think
him
he's the
alone.
first guy that kind of really felt
Leave
like
Cardinal alone. That's my
the
Cardi is my favorite.
baton of Maestro, and he was a Canadian king for a minute.
You never have to ask me who's my favorite Toronto MC because it's Cardinal.
Right. You know what? I was impressed by Tory Lanez. When Tory Lanez was locked up right now, came out and he was making noise in the US and he was singing, doing his thing, and he was rapping also pretty hard. And I think what I'm always impressed by is the fact that I lived in the US and the American market is never an easy shell to crack, especially when you're a Canadian and you don't have a lot of dollars behind you. I don't know what pushed Tory Lanez, but I was just as proud when Tory was making noise. I just think I'm the kind of guy who had the people that I lyrically look up to, and my favorite rapper is not Drake or Tory Lanez. But then as a Canadian rap fan, and as a guy who's been looking at success in a certain way from Canada, I'm always happy to see a Canadian make noise, whether
Let
it
me
was
tell you
you,
something.
whether it's Cardi. You know what I
When I
mean?
saw Drake, when I saw Tory Lanez, they're my motivation. I'm a student of hip hop, son. That's
Mm-hmm.
the reason why I do what I do. Because if I was to say I'm the Maestro Fresh West, the Godfather of Canadian hip hop, these are
Mm-hmm.
peasants. I wouldn't still be learning. Like I'm telling you, I ask questions.
Yeah,
I ask questions.
yeah,
And I'm learning from artists younger than me, fam. It didn't
absolutely.
matter if it was the ghetto concept generation. It didn't matter if it was the Cardinal Circle generation. It
Yeah.
didn't matter if it was the Drake generation or the rich kid generation.
Yeah.
I'm a student and I'm learning, and that's what keeps me. But I know I'm nice. That's why I give it up, but I only give it up to a certain extent because my pen game was nice already. What
By
these
the way.
artists are doing, one of the reasons I respect Socrates.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's nice lyrically, but his flow.
Yeah.
He's the Prince Rogers Nelson of Toronto. Socrates and Chaos invented all that shit, right?
Shout out to Chaos. Shout
They
out to
invented all that.
Chaos. We spoke about it in the last interview. I love how Chaos, my
I look
first
up to
record I heard from Chaos,
I
he
look
was just
up to that man.
rapping. And then all of a sudden, a
Yo,
whole singer, not
I'm
even
humble,
R&B.
family. I'm humble enough to say I look up to those brothers, and I don't feel bad because they grew up looking up to me, man.
Absolutely.
And they're not gonna when they see me shine, they're gonna say respect.
Yeah,
That's
when
that's
you
how we
nice,
grow.
when you nice, you're not afraid of giving somebody
You're
flowers.
not afraid to give
That's
you.
why I did this show. By the way,
Yeah,
on some rapper vibes,
yeah.
I personally believe that put me on a track with 10 rappers going hard, I'm going to be one of the ones that stand out. I believe that. You know what I'm saying? I let it off.
Yo,
But
I'm a
I'm
fan of
never
Troy
afraid to
Dunnit
get
before
flowers.
fam. I'm a fan of Troy Dunnit before I met you, dude.
That made me feel
That's
so
how
good,
dope you are,
man.
man. It's an
Yo,
honor
when
to work with you, my G. Ha!
honestly,
Yo, bro, when I
honestly,
go
it's a
Troy
blessing.
Dunnit, I'm like, yo, we're gonna do this. Did you see the love you got in Toronto, family?
Yo, it felt so
See the
good.
love? Yo, when I said, yo, Adam
Honestly,
Bomb, yo, Troy Dunnit is here. Adam Bomb said, I'll never
you
forget. He goes,
showed love, man.
Adam Bomb said, yo, that dude.
That's
I
tough.
thought I didn't know what he was gonna say. He
You
goes,
gave me a
that
lot of love.
dude. Yo, I've been listening to him from. Yo, that's one of the
Solitaire gave me
dopest
some
MCs,
love.
man.
A lot of
Did
people
you
in
see,
Toronto showed me a
bro?
lot of
Did you
love.
see the love you got at that video shoot, family? You
I
surprised.
really listen. The people
You were
need to know what
surprised.
happened.
I
I
was
was
mad
hell
at you.
surprised.
I
You
was mad
invited
at
me.
you.
Listen,
I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you, son.
I should have
I'm
been in Toronto for years before. I know.
damn
I
right.
should have been coming to Toronto for years before.
Did you see
Um,
the love
so
that
much
you got
love.
when you were
So
in
much love.
Toronto?
To this day, by the way, so much love from Toronto. I'll say this. I got a lot of love for skilled people, and Toronto has a lot of English speaking people, more than Montreal. So there's a lot of dope rappers. I love Theo 3, Adam Bomb, Socrates, Cardi. There's so many that you wouldn't know also. Tona. I really, really rock with Tona. Rich Kid, I listened to the way he rapped on Your Thing. Bro, yeah, he went hard on Born in Toronto. And his production is tough. He produced that song from Nelly Furtado with Chaos. Like, I'm a rapper. I could rap in different eras. I could rap with different styles. I don't produce. I'm a little more jigger with it where it was more rapper. You are as well. I respect these guys that are producers and rappers and find a way to do it all themselves. Mocha only. I rock with Mocha. He showed me love a little bit like you early on before he reached out to me. God bless. I would have reached out to him. But the point is, you can produce, you can sing, you can harmonize. I find that really, 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 I'm impressed. I think for bars, I'm a barsman. You want to go blowtorch and kill everything for 24 bars? I think I'm one of them. And you invited me in a way where I got comfortable to talk to me nice and vibe out too. And the fact that I grew up
Yo,
on
yo, yo, yo.
Hypnotized and partying, we got to
Listen,
party sometimes.
listen. The greatest rhyme writer isn't necessarily the greatest songwriter.
It's true.
Always keep that in mind. The
Yeah,
greatest rhyme writer isn't always necessarily the greatest songwriter.
I agree.
I've
I have
got
to learn
songs
that.
with the rhyme inspector Percy P from Patterson Project in the Bronx.
You
I
know
got
what I mean?
songs with Coogee Rap from Queens, legendary
Absolutely.
Juice Crew.
Yes.
You name it, Cool Key from
Yep.
Ultramagnetic.
Yep.
Like I told you, Razkaz, Planet Asia, like some of the best West Coast lyrics, man. And I
Planet
appreciate
Asia's tough.
I know what lyrics is, right? But
Yeah.
the best rhyme writers ain't always necessarily the best songwriters. One thing that
100%.
makes Drake dope, he's a great song writer.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
You gave me a lot of confidence in entering that zone. And I'm
Yeah.
not joking. That beat was sitting on the corner. And then Talk to Me Nice came about because I was like, that's the beat for Maestro and my collab. And it led to something incredible. I gotta ask you
Yo,
something
yo,
real
yo.
quick.
When I
How do
came
you
with the
leave your tracks?
yo, hold on a second. When I came with the ouvre la porte.
Shut it down. Shut it down. It's how much showed. Even the rhymes, you got Grey's Anatomy, you got lyrics on that. Like we found a way to drop lyrics on a
Yeah.
party track. And we really just shut it down. Let me just talk to you though about how you like if a rapper from a rapper's perspective, analyzing how you write music, you often have big choruses. Sometimes they're like glorious choruses like Stick to Your Vision, which are memorable and remembered choruses. Sometimes it's like, damn, something that's like hard hitting, slap you in the face. It's just, I've noticed that you have great concepts and that you have big choruses. Is it because you always had a songwriter's approach and a songwriter's awareness when you write music?
My favorite album of all time, hip hop wise, It Takes a Nation of Millions, Holds Back from the legendary Public Enemy.
PE,
Look at
PE.
the first, if you listen to the album from top to bottom,
Yeah.
you'll see how that really inspired me. Even if you listen to my song like Underestimated, the first thing I say is mind over matter. That was inspired by Your Bum Rush to Show by
Yep.
the legendary Public Enemy. You see what I'm saying? Um,
Chuck D. Shout out to Chuck
Chuck
D.
D. This is
Flavor
a
Flav.
throwdown from
The
Let Your Back Bone
showdown.
Stop. That was
Yeah.
that was inspired by Chuck D from Public Enemy, because if you look at every single song on that album,
Yeah.
the first thing they say hits you in the head. Yes, the rhythm, the rebel, without a pause. I'm lowering my level. We say, bam, in your face. This is the dope jam.
Yeah. Hard hitting.
So that's what inspired me to drop like what I did with Let Your Backbone Slide and Drop the Needle. You got to punch them in the face with the first lines. So what's
Drop
the
the
first thing
Needle
I
was
say in Drop the Needle?
bananas.
Let your backbone slide. I got you because I got you from backbone.
100%. Why quote somebody else? You quote yourself. You do
I
that a
learned
few
that from
times. I
Chuck
like
D.
that.
I learned that from
Nas
Chuck
does
D.
that also. Requote his own rhymes. Okay, so speaking of that, the difference from your first album to the next, I noticed it when I heard Poetry's Black. Like, you have a little bit more soulful horns, samples on the second album. Is it because you had, like, you follow your music taste and your inspiration, or is it because you see trends changing? Is it a combination of both?
A combination of both, but I knew with
Right.
the second album, Black Tie Affair, Black symbolized Black people, Tie symbolized unity amongst Black people. So
Yeah.
I had to put my community on the album. Shout out to K Force, who was on the B side of Conducting Things on the song
Shout
called
out
If
to
You Got
K
People on
Force.
It. Shout out to Simone Denny, who ended up being in Love Inc. She's on Conducting Things.
Shout out on
Shout
Love
out to
Inc. You know what I'm saying?
Deborah Cox was on the album, but her husband,
Yep.
LaSalle Stevens, was on the album.
That's wild. Hold on. So Deborah Cox's husband is on the album. How did that come about?
She was supposed to sing on the Conducting Things, but she wasn't available at the time because she was in a group with it was four girls. It
Okay.
was all so Deborah couldn't do it at the time.
Too
So I
bad.
think, but she showed up to the video. She
It's
hung
all
out in the
good.
video.
She showed love. She
She
showed
showed
love.
love, you know what I'm saying? But we knew her as Debbie Cox back in the days, man. You know, but like,
I love how you got these regular relationships with
yeah,
icons. We called
yeah.
her Debbie back in the days. Okay, let me just touch back on Montreal. We called her Debbie. That was Deb, bro. Okay, let's talk about
Debbie Cox.
Montreal. Let's talk about Montreal. So these Stick to Your Vision is what I call the resurgence of Maestro after first album, second album, third album. I think at that point you kind of like left the mainstream, the major machine, the first label you got into. Things fell apart. You moved, you parted ways. And in Montreal is where you got clearance or a connection for that These Eyes sample, which is epic. Let's talk about that. That was through Montreal.
That was at the Montreal Urban Music Seminar. I think it just lasted 2 years.
Okay.
It was an annual thing, and it lasted 2 years. But on
Is that a knock on Montreal? We try, bro. God bless my city. We get it, but that didn't work. Okay.
on the flight to Montreal, I sat beside a lawyer, an entertainment lawyer by the name of Chris Taylor.
Yeah.
And
Shout out to Chris Taylor.
we had a great conversation on the way there.
Mhm.
And I knew this is my comeback from, and I figured like we really bonded. And I figured when I get back to Toronto, I'm going to have a meeting with Chris Taylor, and he's going to negotiate my new deal with whoever label I want to speak to.
Yeah.
But when I got to Montreal, there was a conference, And on the panel,
Mhm.
just so happened to be an attorney who represented Randy Bachman from the Guess Who. Her name was Susan
That's the
Abramovich.
that's the
So,
sample.
so in my mind, I got a song called "These Eyes" by the Guess
Mhm,
Who,
mhm.
but I want to clear the sample. As soon as she told me she was repping Randy Bachman,
That's that's
we
karma.
connected
That's
right there
blessings.
in
That's
Montreal.
blessings. That's
She
blessings.
connected me directly with Randy Bachman.
Mhm.
We got the work done. We cleared the sample. Randy Bachman loved the demo that I already had.
Yeah.
He just wanted me to change a couple words because he's a religious guy. So I had chicks from every nationality grabbing my anatomy. He didn't like that, so I changed the line to chicks from every nationality showing hospitality. He was fine with that. And then
Listen,
the
there's radio records, radio.
and then it was like, yo, we connected with Burton Cummins. And then after I got the deal, I was like, yo, shout out to Frankenstein who I did a demo with. But I got a I
Shout out
got
to
a
Frankenstein.
I got a producer by the name of Too Rude, who's a monster, and he's coming up too. So I'm like,
Mhm.
yo, boom, I need you. I already got my deal. The song is already dope. Everything is good. But let's remix what I already did. And that's what Too Rude did with.
So hold on. So you had already done a song to stick to your vision with a sample in a basic format, and then Too Rude came through
I wouldn't
and
even say in a
flipped it and make it
basic
a movie.
format. I wouldn't say in the basic format. It was dope, but not compared to what Too Rude was going to do with it. He was going to just use he was going to use a sample, but then he added the bells and whistles. He added on what I call orchestrated noise. Like
Listen,
Too Rude is one of
people sleep.
he's one
People
of the
sleep.
producers that really influenced my production to where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's dope that you reached out to someone to add those bells and whistles because I feel like people like Dr. Dre, I feel like people like, well, no Diddy, but maybe Diddy in his prime as well. Um, a lot of producers, Quincy Jones, who don't necessarily play instruments in a record, but still have the musical direction and tweaks needed to elevate something. That's something that Socrates talked about. So I didn't even know that it was like, I thought he took it from scratch and brought it to you. No, you already had something and he tweaked it, but he clearly, like you said, made it have that elevated sound. That's dope. That's dope.
That's why I gotta give respect where respect is due on that, But like even like Let Your Backbone Slide, we got a record deal.
Yeah.
They were like, yo, let's try to do something even better than what we already have. So it was the same thing. So it was a remix. Let Your Backbone Slide was a remix. So it's like
Wow. Does the
so
world know that Let
yeah,
Your
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Backbone
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Slide was a
If
part
you
two?
put
Hold up. Shook Ones. Mob Deep was a part two.
yeah,
So
yeah.
is this
So
a thing
boom,
that happens often? I wonder. Probably.
boom, you have a second chance to do something great. If you look at Electric Circus, it's a different version of Let Your Backbone Slide. Once we signed
Yeah.
the deal, it was like, yo, we have an opportunity right now to make this the best record ever.
To level up.
So 10 years later, because that was 89, 10
Yeah.
years later, when Stick to Your Vision came, yeah, I got my deal. Yeah, I'm nice. Yeah, I'm doing it. But I got
Yeah.
an opportunity right now to make it even better than what it is right now. Let me talk to my brother that I know by the name of Too Rude. You know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
Blessings are too rude, man. He had a record at the time that had a lot of American rappers and Canadian rappers working together. So flowers for him. Question, T Dot, Toronto. You mentioned that one of your bros, K Force, he coined the phrase T Dot, or he's the one who made it popular by putting it on the song and it was already in the streets.
So Cardinal kind of blew that up, but he'll tell you that the first person we ever heard say T dot O dot is the brother K Force. K
Okay.
Force, he's one of the first MCs I knew out of Toronto. We love him,
Mhm.
appreciate him, we celebrate him. He did a lot for us. He was in Juice. He's one of those Hispanic looking brothers trying to rob Tupac,
That's
but
dope. So he
for
also
that,
was trying to flip and do some acting as
he's
well.
trying to do a couple different things too. But K Force introduced Ghetto Concept to a brother by the name of Jesse Terrero and Yuli Terrero, who direct from Queens, New York.
I remember those dudes. They filmed Ghetto Concepts' first videos.
Easy on the Motion was connected
Really?
by K Force, who
That's
put
dope.
who connected Quadro and Dolo. to Jesse Terrero and Yuli Terrero. That's their very first video. I
Ghetto
think it was
Concept was popping at the time.
so
They had
yo.
that energy,
That's
man. That
so. Let me
Flash
show
Street
you.
energy.
Like that right there was the connect. And then years later, Jesse was doing Too Much for Ghetto Concept.
That's it. That's their big tune.
He got a call from, I forget the dude's name, man. It was one Chris. I forget Chris's last name, man. He's one of
Okay.
the top
Okay.
producers in New York.
Yes.
Obviously, there was like Hype Williams
Yes.
and all that, right? And obviously Director X came under the tutelage
Yes.
of
Yes.
but this dude was the dude who was mentoring Jesse. He goes, this artist by the name of Jill Scott loves your videos, man.
Wow.
While they were filming Too Much, Jesse went up to take a long walk for Jill Scott.
That's
You know what I'm saying?
blessings.
And
Blessings. You never
after
know who
that,
you cross paths with,
you never knew you crossed paths to.
right? And what they're gonna
And then
get
he
to.
came back. And Chris Martin, I don't know if that's his name. I want to bug out. Find the producer, the video director. He's one of the top dudes, like Benny Boom. This dude was one of them too. But Jesse came back and shot Still Too Much. And I was in that one with Snow
So you saying the director, Chris, a director who filmed which video?
he filmed. He's one of the top video directors. He's in the era of Chris. He's in the era of Hype Williams.
I'll think of something. I'll think of something in a minute. Damn. In the era of Chris, I think I know, but it's like slipping off the tongue for me as well. Pause. Let me ask a question. Rewind. With all these people that you've met, back at the beginning. Let Your Backbone Slide. You signed a deal with, you said, Left Rack Records. I forget, LFR. Question is, when you first signed the deal, you're still a guy in Toronto. Did you get emotional? Did you call your mom, say, Mom, you mentioned your mom was like, go back to school. Did you call your parents and say, it's it, I got a deal, I told you this would work out? Like, did you have that moment?
I can't remember, brother, but when
Ah!
the video came out, it was a wrap. Once they saw the video, shout out to Farley Flex and
But
DJ
when
L.
it came out, like, how did you feel? Did you know? Did you walk out the streets and then it was over for you in Toronto? You were now a celebrity?
It was
It was
over. It was
like, as a
over.
dude who never had that moment, how did it feel? Did you have to check yourself in the moment? You have to be careful where you leave. Let me be easy. Boom, boom, boom. I got to move different. I'm not a regular, Wes Williams anymore. It was over.
Shout out to Farley Flex because one thing he mentioned, it's important to give back, and I learned that early. So even though I was a gold artist, I was still in Scarborough community
Real.
centers. I was still in Driftwood Community Center.
Dope.
I was
Dope.
still in the Jungle
Dope.
community centers because we wanted to show the Black community, these youth coming up, if I could do it, you could do it too.
It was probably still where you from, where you had homies. I
Yeah.
mean, like, unless you're out there super chunky, jewels everywhere, flaunting, really being extra with it, man, it's still where you got most of your homies, right? So it's probably a comfortable place for you. Have to ask you a question. The difference in promotion today versus how you promoted back then. Like, the difference probably was back then you had a machine, so maybe you didn't even know all the promotion that was involved. Um, do you promote like crazy now, or do you put out the records and keep doing what you're doing? Like, in terms of your TV shows and everything, does everything come together as one? Or do you have what's the promotion plan when you release an album?
Troy, you gotta work it, man. You gotta
You got
work
to
it.
work it, right? You got to work it. So it's different. Do you work all your connects? Do you work DJs like you used to? Like, today, in a 2 seconds, if you have to like say it in 2 seconds, what is the path of promoting a record?
Depends. I can't say in 2 seconds, man. It's
I know it's tough, right? But
different, man.
general, couple jewels.
It's different, man. Like I knew, like, yo, I got, I'm a marketing guy, so I knew I got the Junos coming up. The Junos are on Sunday. How about if I drop Flagrant Freestyle on a Thursday? Okay, it
That's it,
was
right? So this is good intel for the kids. If you got a blessing that just dropped, what can you release at the same time? It's like J. Cole just got dissed by Kendrick and dropped an album along with a diss.
like me, I knew I had the Junos coming up, so I'm like, yo, boom, let me drop the flagrant freestyle on the Thursday
Yep.
to get people thinking about what's going on throughout the weekend.
Yeah.
And then I performed it live Sunday night at Scratch Bastards event in
Boom.
Halifax. How fresh is that? Like I planned
That
it
was
out.
a hype event. I saw the highlights.
You know what I'm saying? So that was all planned. Like when I did the joint, I knew I'm like, okay, boom, I'm gonna drop this Thursday. I'm gonna give it a couple DJs. Scratch Bastards is gonna be in Halifax.
Yeah.
So after I perform at the Junos, I'll perform Flagrant Freestyle live for the first time
That's wild.
at his joint. You see what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
my birthday is March 31st. So
Yeah.
shit, let me perform on that. Let me see if I could do a halftime at the Raptors game, which is 6 days after the Juno. So I'm a marketing guy. You see what I'm
The
saying? So
marketing plans work themselves when you think in that realm. It was 2024. There was 24 tracks on it. It's your own personal 24 tracks that you like the most of yourself. So it's not necessarily all the major hits, some B-sides on there. Um, what else worked out also? Like there was a lot of things that worked out around the same time. So it was a culmination of good planning and good blessings. Um, all right. So how do you feel about getting the governor's award and being called the Canadian Prime Minister? Like all these things. Like it's almost symbolic at this point.
yo, brother, I feel like, I don't know if you see this, but this was a gift. That's a Canadian flag.
Ooh, I see the Canadian flag right there.
That was a gift from my son's mother, the ex-wife who
Yep.
decided to be like, yo, you know what? We got a gift for you. Her and her mom's my son's grandmother.
Wow.
So I was getting this. While I was getting this, they at one jewelry store, they were
Yeah.
at the next jewelry store
You know
getting
what I'm
me this,
saying?
right? And it just goes to
Blessings.
show family comes first, man.
Blessings come down.
You see what I'm saying? So how I feel about the Governor General Award, I feel blessed. Like this is black music in Canada.
Right.
And because I took care of my family, I'm being rewarded, man.
You're a good man. We spoke when I was coming to Toronto to film videos. You told me you were going to be in Toronto at that time of year because your son had some basketball stuff to do. I'm a very involved father. I told you I don't trust a mother effer who don't raise his kids. Like if we doing business and I know how you are with your kids, if you would do that to them, what you gonna do to me? So there's a lot that I respect about you. You're a very involved father, present father. You're a good example for your son of one musical success, but hustling and grinding over the years. It ain't like you've just been chilling. You going for it. And that's a beautiful thing to see. And watching you collab with so many legendary artists and watch them celebrate you from Classified, the Cardinal, the Sox, to the new kids. Honestly, you're something exemplary for Canada. You're something that changed my career and something that I look up to. Like you're big bro, but you just bro. Like when we chill, we just chill. But at the same time, I'm fully aware of what you've done, and I don't take your involvement in my music career for granted. It's a blessing
Bro,
of all blessings.
like Drake said, we started from the bottom, but now we're
Hey,
here, fam.
you know what I mean?
We're not doing local shit. We're doing like global shit. We're doing
That's it.
international
Let's
ish.
get it,
We're
get it.
doing big things, man. And it started from a thought that we turned into something. You know what I'm saying? So I celebrate Canadian hip hop, and it's an honor. It's an honor to like, yo, this right here, B. This is heavy,
Wave
man.
that Juno. Wave that Juno. Let's get
This
it.
is heavy, man. This is heavy, man. Like I
Listen,
gotta eat my Wheaties. I
it
gotta
ain't
eat my
even
Wheaties
mine.
before.
It ain't even mine, but I got to tell y'all, as a dude who's done a hot
I
record,
gotta
you
eat
guys got
my
to stream
Wheaties,
Talk to
man.
Me Nice. Look at this. As a
Talk to me
dude,
nice, man. Look at this.
I'm
Talk
not
to
going
me
to say too
nice.
much. We got more.
This is
We got more
ouvre
coming. That's all I'm going
la
to say.
porte.
Ouvre la
Ouvre.
porte. Listen, we got more dropping. That's all I'm gonna say. And I don't. This is governor. I'm doing records with, you know what I mean, OG of all OGs, and he got 20 chains on. Look at the Junos. That stands for 20 chains. So that's all I'm gonna say is thank you for sitting with me. Thank you for entrusting me to tell your story. I told you I want to tell your story from an artist perspective. The artist who didn't have those early blessings, but wants to hear that story and dream with you and appreciate it with you. We appreciate you. You're the champion of the culture. And blessings come down on you because you look out for the ones that came after you. You know what I mean? It's an interaction,
We
it's
got my brother.
symbiotic, and we got more work coming. Blessings. Shout out to
We got work.
big Maestro, and put some respect on his name.
All right, brother.
All
Reach
right.
out to family.
On. Bless.
That's one.